Hello everyone and welcome to another build order video. In this one I'll be going over the map Cobalt Valley, which is a 10-kilometer map that practically plays more like a 7.5-kilometer map. We have a Hydro, a tiny bit of Reclaimer on the base, and honestly not much mass to work with. So the build's going to be relatively simple to execute, and because of that the simple beginner-friendly build isn't going to differ too much from the more advanced build. And the more advanced build isn't going to be too hard to replicate. But without further ado, let's get started with the beginner-friendly build. I'm going to start with a land factory, power generator, and then the 4 mexes before moving on to the hydro. Do take note of the little move order, don't forget. And the reason we're making a PGen first is because the hydro is slightly far away. If you would do land factory 4 mechs and then walk over, you would be a little more prone to a power stall. So we're going to make 3 engineers, tank scout, engineer, tank scout, 2 engineers, 2 tanks, and then something like this on repeat. It doesn't have to be exactly this, but if you can copy the first little bit, that would be good enough. And the first engineer moves towards the hydro. The second one we're going to move towards the right. Let's first assist the RCU to this engineer. And queue up the hydro, land factory, power generator, air factory, and then some more power before we construct more land factories. Second engineer will expand towards the right, grab this big rock, build a mex, big rock, 2 mexes, and then you could build a PDN radar here. You don't have to, but it can be nice. Engineer number 3 will assist the hydro, and then expand upwards and towards the left. And these 2 engineers will be on the hydro for a bit. They're going to be safe, protected by the ACU. This engineer on the right is all alone, so we're going to send our tank towards the right. If you'd like, you could be aggressive and move it down here. For now, I'm just going to keep the move order right there. Give the first factory an order to make tanks. Give this engineer the order to reclaim over here. And then just attack move for all of the trees that are there. Next tank we'll send to the left. And the air factory will give something simple like this for now. On this map, it's especially important that you use your air factory well if you make one. If you notice your opponent doesn't have a single air factory, you should just make bombers on repeat. If you keep making interceptors, that is not going to turn out well for you. And this next engineer will reclaim the bottom. And we are running a bit low on resources, so the ACU will leave now. Make the mechs towards the middle, then the 2 in the middle. Then you can try and attack the opponent. We're going to leave it at this for now. Manually sending some tanks towards the right can be useful. The next engineer that comes out will assist the engineer we have right here. Be sure to scout the base. See if you can attack somewhere. And at this point, you will already have interacted with your opponent, and so following this build exactly isn't going to work, because things will play out differently every single time. So I think we're about done here, but just for the sake of the build, I'm going to let you see what it looks like when you are allowed to build freely. And see what the eco bar looks like pretty much. Once you have a spare engineer, you can build a mechs in the middle. Don't forget to split up your factory rally points. 1 to the right, 1 to the middle, 1 to the left. Should be good enough. And the next engineer can help make a factory. We can probably afford another one after that. Judge for yourself, of course, when you're playing the game. Don't make more factories when you're already stalling. And that's about it. I'll stop here at 4 minutes and 20 seconds. We have 14 tanks, 3 interceptors, 3.4 land factories, an air factory, and 5 power generators. Let's move on. Alright, let's move on with the more advanced build. Doing land factory, PGen, all of the mexes. The factory will make 3 engineers, tank scout, engineer, tank scout, engineer, tank, 2 engineers, 2 tanks, and then something like this will do. Taking the first engineer to the right for the reclaim. The ACU is going to be late to the hydro because of this PGen. You could also send the first engineer here, second engineer here. I'm not sure what's better. I think it's roughly the same, really, so it doesn't matter too much. Alright, let's go. Don't forget the tiny rocks. Or do. It doesn't really matter that much. Next, big rock. And then here we're going to build a PD and a radar. This engineer will make the hydro, land, PGen, air, 2 PGen, land, PGen, land. And this guy will reclaim along the top. Including the trees. First tank will go to the right, of course. That's where both engineers are going at the moment. Engineer will assist this factory, then move up for the mexes and do some reclaim or whatever. Tank, of course, goes left. And we'll give the air factory some standard queue like this, but as I said in the beginner build, if you skipped it, you want to be careful with how you use your air factory. If you scout the opponent and they don't have an air factory, you do not want to keep making interceptors. You want to be making bombers only. And if you don't, you'll be in trouble. So yeah, keep in mind. And we'll send a tank manually to the right. Pretty important expansion. And because it's important, we're going to be raiding theirs. So let's send these tanks down. Scout the base. You can leave the base at this point. And towards the middle. Manually reclaim some trees while we're there. And a factory with a rally point to the right. Build the mechs in the middle and reclaim. Could be smart to send your first inti to the right. It's probably where they're going to bomb, if they have a bomber. And we'll keep reclaiming, because our mass is kind of low. No point in adding more to the engineers that are building. And that's about it for the build. We'll let it play out until 4 minutes and 20 so we can compare to the starting build. But yeah, it's not going to be much more impressive than the starting build, because there isn't too much to do here. So slight stall there. If you're stalling like this, by the way, you're stalling in the early game, while you're building mexes, as we are here, and you have time, it's a good idea to pause engineers that are doing anything that's not building mexes, so that the units building mexes can finish them sooner. So it's done, we can unpause the engineers, and we're not stalling anymore, as you can see. I missed the 4 minutes and 20 seconds mark by just a little bit by accident. But we've got 16 tanks, 4 factories, 5 power generators, 3 interceptors. So yeah, that concludes this video. Thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments down below if there's another map you would like to be featured in his Build Order series. Alright, thank you for watching. Bye bye.